If you love to create fun fold cards and ones with interactive elements, I think you're going to love today's card. We're going to decorate it with some sweet and adorable little characters. I hope you'll stick around and watch. Let's take a look. The card we're creating today is a waterfall card, and you can see one sample here. Now the one we create here in a little bit is going to look different. It will work the same, but we're going to decorate it in a different way. But here you can see how a waterfall card works. We have the little ribbon pull tab down here, and as I pull it, we have these flaps that are going to spin over and reveal the next flap underneath. Really neat card, really fun for kids or anyone. And I want to share with you how to make it today. Now, what I've decorated this one with, I'll share real quick with you, is the Hippus Hippos stamp set and the coordinating die set. These are available limited time only during celebration. Hopefully they are still available when I'm releasing this video, and you can actually get them for free. So you can find information if you click on the link that goes to my website in the video description below. You can find out more about that and how you can get them free through the end of August. But let's get started with how to create a waterfall card. Here are the pieces you will need, and you can find the complete list of the measurements and everything you need on that same link by going to my website. And I will quickly list them here. You need a 4.5, 4.25 by 5.5 card base. 5.5 by 8.5 card base folded in half, a mat for the front that measures 4 by 5.25. An optional piece that you can put behind here to add some stability is just a piece of cardstock that measures the same. You need a strip that measures 2 inches by 9 inches, scored at 4 3/4, 5.5, 6 1/4, and 7. You need 4 squares that match your card base that measure 2 inches by 2 inches, 4 white squares or the top layer. These are going to measure 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and then a piece that measures 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches. Let's get started by preparing the strip that does all of the work for this card. So we need the piece that measures 2 inches by 9 inches. It has been scored at several locations, like I just mentioned. And I'm going to bring in my Very Best Trio punch. I love this punch because it has a couple of nice corners that I can use, and it also creates the little hole for a tag. So I need to put this in on the end that does not have any score lines. Okay, so my score lines are down here at the left side. I am going to slide this in over here. I want to get it centered if possible. And I'm going to punch that little hole out. Now I want to give it some cute edges. So I am going to slide this in to one of the decorative corners and punch that. Now if I want this to be symmetrical, I can slide this corner in right here, but it will be a little bit different than symmetrical. If I want it to be symmetrical, I'm going to flip it over, slide that in, and punch again. Okay, so we have this ready now. What we're going to do is add the 4 gray squares to this piece. So I'll pull in these pieces. These are the ones that measure 2 inches by 2 inches. And I need to put adhesive on one edge of each one. So I like to keep that adhesive fairly close to the edge. It doesn't have to be right at the edge, but pretty close. And what we're going to do is start attaching these just below where the score lines are. So one of them, I actually realize this piece is probably optional, but I'm going to put this right below that bottom score mark. Then I'm going to move upward, doing the same with these other ones. So here is the second one. As you do this, you want to make sure that your adhesive is at the top edge. It can attach to this little strip right here, but it cannot attach to the square below it, or it will interfere with how your card works. There's the third one, and here is the fourth one. Okay, Next, we are going to attach a ribbon through the cute little hole that we prepared. So here is a piece of ribbon, measures about 6 inches, I believe. And I'm actually going to flip this over. So all of my square flaps are on the front. I'm going to flip it over to that other side. And this will help make sure that the cute side of my ribbon will be facing out when I put this all together. So I folded my ribbon in half. I inserted that fold through the hole. Now I am going to put the ends through the hole and pull. And just to get this ready for the next step, let's go ahead and do some folding. We will fold on those score lines. And I want to fold in this direction. So when you get done, it will look something like this. So fold it in half. If you want, you can loosen them up. You can't really fold the other way because of the squares. So just fold that direction that you can fold with the squares attached. Now let's prepare the mat that will go on the front of the card. Okay, this piece right here I told you was optional. If you decide you want to use it, what you will do is attach it directly behind your designer paper. Now, if you choose to use cardstock on the front in place of designer paper, you will not need a second layer. But I like to add this piece of cardstock for stability. This also helps to hide the backs of the brads that will help to hold everything in place. So what I'll do, I'll bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. Fun fact, this has been a product, I believe Stampin' Up! Still carries this, but it hasn't been in a catalog for a long time. Now I want to put some really strong adhesive on both ends. I am going to offset my waterfall piece towards the right side. So I am just putting, so imagine if my strip is going to go towards the right side of the card. I only have a little bit of space to put adhesive here, and I have more space to put adhesive over here. But we have to have an opening with no adhesive behind it. Now I want to put this at the bottom, and looks like I need to trim mine off a little bit. You want to put it about an inch or a little bit less from the bottom of your card, bottom of your mat. Trim this extra piece off. Had a bonus. And now I want to poke holes through each end of this and put some brads in there. Now, if you want to, you can actually attach this to the front of your card and poke through all 3 layers, which will add even more stability. Doing it the way I'm showing you right now, you will hide the backs of the brads, which I think looks a little bit nicer. So that's the reason I decided to show it to you this way. But the reason I put the brads in is just because there's a little bit extra pressure being placed on this piece with the strip as you pull on that waterfall piece. So when you put the brads in place, it can help if it gets a little extra tug just to make sure nothing comes apart. Okay, so I've put those brads through, and now we are ready to attach this to the front of our card base. I can't wait to show you how I'm going to decorate today's card. If you like gnomes, if you like little fairy tale creatures, and in particular gnomes, I think you may love it. That's why we have these cute little mushrooms on the front. Okay, so now that we have this much prepared, let's go ahead and insert this strip through. What I want to do, I want to fold it in half so that all of my flaps are on top and the ribbon piece is in the back. And I want to, you need to insert it so that this piece is behind the strip. Now it might actually be easier to unfold all of it and slip that through, then bring it up and fold it over. or you can just insert it with the ribbon piece down behind. That works as well. Now, once you have done this, I want you to unfold all of this. And down here at this very end, we are going to attach some nice and strong adhesive. I either recommend using 2 strips of tear and tape adhesive very close together, or you can use some Seal Plus. Now this has to be very close to the edge of your cardstock, and the reason is when we fold this over, it can attach to this narrow strip, but it cannot be on either side. So as I fold this over, I want to make sure it lines up right with the bottom of that strip. And once it does, and I see that things appear to be straight, I'm going to press down. So the back of this strip on top is adhering to that narrow strip right here. Okay, so once we have attached this, we can test it out and it should work. Now, if it doesn't work at this point, hopefully you can take it apart and get it fixed, but now we just get to decorate. So let me pull in the pieces I have prepared for this. We have some mushrooms, we have some gnome creatures, and all kinds of fun things. So I'll show you the products I use to create these. I have the Kindest Gnomes stamp set and the Coordinating Gnomes dies. I did also use some coordinating designer paper. It is called the Storybook Gnomes Designer Paper Pack. And some of these, like this big mushroom and these 2 cute little gnomes, I actually just die cut out of the paper, and I did not even prepare them myself. I didn't color them myself. So here's one of the prints with those gnomes. You can die cut those out. The large mushrooms can be die cut out. And then there are lots of fun prints on the back as well. So let's prepare. Now there should be 4 white squares that I told you to prepare. They measure 1 7/8 inch by 1 7/8 inch. We will use those in just a moment, but I wanted to show you that I did stamp a couple of these, and I am coloring them in with my water painters. Now do you ever make mistakes when you're stamping? Anyone? Please tell me I'm not alone. So when you are watercoloring, you should use Stays On ink to stamp before you watercolor. I get so used to using Memento ink for everything. Anything I'm stamping black and filling in, that I don't know, I just forget sometimes. So I stamp these with Memento. If you look close, you're gonna see a little bit of that ink has bled on the one that I have finished already. So I made a little mistake, but you know what? I think mistakes make it one of a kind, right? Handmade will never be perfect. So you want to stamp with Stays On if possible before you do your coloring. But I wanted to show you how you could color these in if you choose to, but I love the option of just die cutting from the paper pack as well. Okay, once these are done, then I have decorated them. Decorated the little squares with these, and they are ready to be attached to the flaps on my card. Now, as you create some of these, you may decide you like to do all your decorating before you put it together, or you may decide you like to do it just how I'm showing you right now. So this cute mushroom, I am going to slide down right in here. So I'll add some adhesive to the back before I do that, and then slide it down and get it attached. But I thought that made a really cute background for all of these gnomes. And then this one I have already decorated with some of the really cute die cuts in the set with the mushrooms and the grass. And she is going to be the very bottom one down here. So attach that in place, and we will work our way up one by one with these other gnomes that I have prepared. This stamp set actually has some Christmas, it has a Christmas greeting in it. You could use it for Christmas if you want to, but I love that these gnomes can be used all year round. We'll put this one on next, and then we'll save that sweet, cheery looking old gnome for the top. This one makes me laugh. He has long eyelashes that I think are pretty cute. Let's fold this back out. Attach this right on top. And before we give it a final test, I have two things to add. I wanted to add one more little mushroom because they're adorable and because I'm allowed, right? Do you ever get carried away with little tiny die cuts like, oh my gosh, these are just like the cutest things I've ever seen. I have to add all of them. I know a lot of times actually I actually lean away from the detailed die cuts, but oh my gosh, they're so cute. I had to use a bunch on this one. And you know me so well. So let's test it out. Let's see how it looks. And the sweet little girl gnome on the bottom. So I hope this helps you learn how to make a waterfall card so that you're comfortable doing this and can try it out and share these with some of your loved ones. If you are interested in any of the products I used today, there's links in the video description below. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you will join me next time when I'll be back helping you to hand make with love.